So why exactly did I go to New York City? As I wrap up my packing for the day, there's a lot to unpack in that question, and I'm gonna get to it in this video. So one thing I want people to understand is it wasn't just a random moment that I picked to go to New York City. It wasn't. There's a whole story behind me ending up in New York City the way I did. So quick story here. Ever since I was a youngin', and I'm talking about the better part of 2 decades or so here, I've always wanted to be in New York City. The only thing is, at the time, I didn't know what being in New York City really meant. But to me, I knew I wanted to be there. I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew I wanted to go to New York City, whether it be to live, whether it be to stay for a long time. But I did know I didn't want to just visit. I didn't want to just go for a day or 2, 3 days. I wanted to be there for a while. The idea in my head was to actually live in New York City temporarily, or whatever the case may be, because I wanted to experience the nightlife. I wanted to experience going to shows all the time. I wanted to experience community. I wanted to experience that whole New York City lifestyle. I wanted that ever since I was younger. And I'm talking about the better part of 2 decades of having this dream of doing this, right? The better part of 2 decades of just dreaming of doing this. Between the earlier part of me having this dream and last year, I could have gone to New York City anytime throughout there. Like, there could have been anything that could have pulled me into going to New York City happen. There could have been nothing that I could see right now looking back, but there could have been. So I'm a person that kind of listens to the universe. I follow the universe, right? I look at signs. I look at the way things look like they should be, and I follow the energy, okay? I follow the energy of what I feel like, of whatever I think feels good. I follow that energy. So it just so happens last year, I was talking to a buddy of mine. This is a guy that I've been that I had served in the military with, for quite some time. We were both stationed here in Germany at the same time for a while. And since I'd been out, which is quite a while now, we're talking a number of years, we've been talking on and off, right? So it came up, that I should visit New York City. I don't think he ever knew that I had the dream of going there, but it came up in a conversation and he was down with it. So why wouldn't I take that? You know what I'm saying? So I take that and I was just like, what can I do with that information that the universe just gave me, right? I started looking into it and putting my own energy into it. And I started checking out the financial situation. Like, is this financially possible? And it is, and it was. I mean, I went, so financially there was no issues. And I had a friend of mine who was willing to help me out once I get there, okay? So then I had to start looking deeper. I had to continue my nosedive into this whole thing, right? So I started looking at flights. What do flights look like? Because I know overseas flights can be a bitch. And it just so happens that during the time that I chose, or during the time that I purchased my flight, was actually the best time to get in there and purchase flights. Flights were cheap. When I bought the flight, it was before winter. I want to say like October, November time frame, like late October, early November, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly. But this was the perfect time to book a flight for the time that I actually ended up going, which was in January, which was the end of December into the beginning of January. So I had a friend there that was inviting me. My friend would also host me, so I would have a place to be. I did ended up getting an Airbnb because that friend of mine does have a family, and I don't want to be in the way of people's. He welcomed me, but I don't want to be in people's way. Like, people, they deserve to have their life stay as normal as possible without somebody like me, snoring in their living room. So I had a friend that was inviting me. I had a place that I could land at, and it wouldn't cost me an arm and a leg. Yeah, of course I had to make that happen. Like, of course. What the hell? Okay, sorry if there's any difference, but I had to make some adjustments. So everything started coming together, right? I am a person that follows energies. I follow the universe when it's showing signs that things should happen, or when things start to look positive. I follow that energy. So with the finances looking good, with my friend taking me in, and flights being cheap, that's like three things that gave me really good energy for making this happen. So I did it, right? That's not the magical part of this. The magical part of this is, at least for me, is throughout that time I was telling you about, the 2 decades, the 20 plus years of me having this dream of going to New York City, the universe could have made that happen at any point in that time. I don't know how, looking back even, I don't know how it would happen or when, at what point in my life it would have happened, but it could have happened at any point in that time. It just so happens that it happened right before all the bull crap kicked off. Before all of this stuff started happening with COVID-19, I ended up experiencing New York City the way it's meant to be experienced. If you look at it now, it's a mess. It's a mess. Let's call it what it is. It's a mess. I would not have wanted to experience New York City the way it is right now. I don't want to have to be masked up everywhere. And I know that's everywhere, but I wouldn't want to have to do that. I wouldn't want my train rides to be questionable because I don't know what's going on with the person next to me. I don't like the idea of restaurants spreading their tables out and you have to stay away from everybody. I don't like not having the opportunity to go places because they're shut down because of this. I don't like the bare streets. I don't like the empty streets because no one's out enjoying life. Now, I know these are a must. I'm not saying I'm against them going on, but I wouldn't have wanted to experience New York City that way. Not after dreaming of being there for 20 years and then, ended up having to experience it that way. That just wouldn't have worked, right? So while all those things are being impeded on and being, stamped out and people's experiences are being changed and being altered and stuff like that, I went at the perfect time. 2020 was looking to be a great year. I felt that. I felt that in my heart. So I wanted to kick it off on a really good note. As we all know, 2020 is cleaning house right now, actually. But I actually got to get my dream of going to New York City and witnessing it and experiencing it the way it's meant to be experienced. I got my dream. And it was beyond anything that I imagined and put forth effort into. I was compelled to make this happen by an energy much more powerful than me. So after 20 years of dreaming to go to New York City, I got to do it right at the last moment before all these changes come and messes up everybody else's experiences for New York City. And that's why I went to New York City. It was beyond me. This was already done. The dream that I had 20 years ago is this, and it wasn't supposed to be any way else. It's not like if I wouldn't have gone then that I still can't go later. You know what I mean? But my dream wasn't supposed to be that. That wasn't what was for me to do it the way they're having to do it now. That was never for me. The way I had it was for me, and it was gifted to me right at the perfect time. So it was beyond me, man. That's why I went to New York City. That's why I was there. That is the main justification for my being in New York City during the time that I went. It actually ended up being shorter than I really wanted, but I wouldn't complain. I saw a lot of things. I got to see a lot of things. I got to experience a lot of things. And I wouldn't change any of it. I saw many of the things that I wanted to see upon visiting. I experienced many of the things I wanted to experience upon visiting. So I got no complaints, and I will go back at some point. Hopefully things are a little better than what they are like right now. But I just wanted to open that up, tell you guys that story, and give you the main reason why I went to New York City. Being in New York City is nothing like being in Germany. This is still going to be home for me, period. But at some point, I would love to go back and see more things and experience more of New York City. That's pretty much all I gotta say about it. So if you wanna see any of the videos that I made about New York and during the time that I was there, I will put the links down in the description and you guys can go check those out if you have the time and if you feel like it. But until I get around to making the next video, I gotta get back to packing, bro. Y'all quit bugging me, man. Let me get back to work. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.